Hey, this is one of those nights when I really like the music and I wanted to play it just a little longer. Hey, how are ya? Kathy Beatty here with Divorce Support Anonymous Friday Night Live. This is March 2021. 2 years ago this month, I started doing Facebook Lives. For 2 years, you have given me the privilege of coming into your home for a few minutes to give encouragement, to give, I hope, some words of wisdom, to give just a little bit of love on a Friday night, just to know that you are loved, that you are cared about, that God has not forgotten you, nor has he divorced you. So thank you for those of you who have been with me on this journey for the past 2 years. My books came out about 3 years ago, so it was a while after that. My publisher said, we don't do book signings anymore. Those are passé. Now we're doing Facebook Lives and blogs and things of that sort. So I haven't done a blog for a long time, but Facebook Live, 2 years. So thank you. Thank you for those of you who have been with me during this journey. Get that out of the way there. So tonight is all about kids. That's what I'm focused on because I've got an event coming up that I hope you are going to participate in on, that's a virtual group. Here it is. How not to screw up your kids going through divorce. So if you see a lot of publicity out there, you'll see something that looks like this. How not to screw up your kids going through divorce, March 18th, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So register. If you go onto the Facebook Live group or page, or my personal page for that matter, I've got it kind of splattered everywhere. You'll see a place to register. And I do have the live link that I will be sending out to you when you register. And I hope that you will join us because I am so excited about the caliber of speakers that I have. Wow. I am so privileged to have them. Dr. Kathy Cook, who wrote 5 to Thrive and is a educational specialist and has spent her entire life focusing on kids and how they react to things and what they need. She's phenomenal. And then Leslie Vernick, who wrote The Emotionally Destructive Marriage. She's going to come on and we're going to talk about you being healthy first. And then Dr. Lila Rasgalia, who is a fabulous pediatrician who travels all over the world and deals with children in trauma and people recovering from sexual abuse. Amazing woman. Laura Petherbridge, who you're familiar with, maybe if you've been in the divorce world for a while, she's going to join us and give us cautions about bringing new people into our children's lives. And then I have Cynthia Klein, who talks about the ally parenting as opposed to being the adversarial parent. Oh, such good information. I cannot wait for this to happen. I'm going to host it live from Keystone Community Church here in Ada. So if you're in Ada, Michigan, which is outside of Grand Rapids, you can come in person. And if you do, you receive a copy. The first 50 people will receive a copy of my newest book, 30 Days of Healing After Divorce. So please come in person if you can. If not, live stream. It'll be simulcast. We have some people who are registered from Africa, from Nairobi, Kenya, I believe it is. So we are going out in the world. Why? Because the message is so critically important that we don't hurt and harm our children any more than has to be. I mean, it's not possible for them to be unaffected by a divorce, but there are ways that we can minimize that damage. So please, please, please join us. We'd love to have you. I have a handout you'll get, a place to take notes, resource, great tools. Can't wait to have you. March 31st, the next virtual group is going to begin. If you are in the Grand Rapids area, April 20th, we'll be doing the next support group there. So let's talk about kids. Enough of the announcements. Let's talk about now, here and now. Here and now. I have worked in this divorce world for the past 15 years. I've worked with parents of children. I don't specialize or work with the children. Other people do that and do it well. I work with the parents. And I hear a lot of stories of what's happening with the children. A lot of parents are disoriented and hurting because their children are disoriented and hurting. So let me ask you just a few questions of what are they going to remember when this is all over and when this is all done. I just got off the phone a little bit ago speaking with my son, who is now a grown man, kids of his own, businessman. I'm so incredibly proud of him. And he was young when I was going through the divorce. He was 16 at the time. But I remember a few years prior, when he was, 13, 14, that really awkward age the kids are when they're starting to mature, and it's real awkward. And I remember thinking, I don't know how to pray for him. I don't know how. I don't know what's going on in his mind and his heart. I simply don't know. I don't know how to put into words what to pray. And the thought came to me, which I'm sure was a divine thought. Pray for the presence of God in his life. And that's what I did. I thought, if I pray for the presence of God in his life, it can't go wrong. And that's what I did. And I'm telling you that story because when I was on the phone with him, this grown man, who I prayed that prayer when he was 13, 14, and went through the divorce when he was 16, he said to me something before I got off the phone. I said, I've got to go. Preparing for Facebook Live tonight, have a few things to get together, and it's probably 45 minutes ago. And he said, I want to pray this or ask this blessing just of the fullness of the Lord to be on you. And I thought afterward, back to that prayer. If I didn't know what to pray, but I prayed for the presence of God in his life. It comes back to you, what you put into your children's lives. It comes back to you. I know it's not neat. I know it's very messy. It's very awkward. We don't do it perfectly. But we can do it. And we can do it well. We can do it well through the divorce. We can do it well after the divorce. So I want to give you just some tips tonight about dealing with your kids. And the question is, what do they need? What do your children need? And so I came up with this acronym just a little bit ago, but I think it might be helpful and insightful for you to think about of what your children need. What they need most is consistency. In a divorce, a life is in such a turmoil, and they are lost and wandering and bewildered by everything that's going on. I was just watching a comment there of what our children need. and consistency. In all the turmoil, sorry, I lost my train of thought. In all the turmoil, they need someone in their life to be stable and consistent and predictable, because then they feel secure. And you'll hear some of the experts in the seminar, March 18th, talk about this and the importance of structure, consistency, because that gives them security. They need those rituals. So what your children need is they need consistency from you. Now, the other parent may be going a little bit off the deep end and doing things that are hurtful and harmful, things you cannot control. But what you can control is your actions, are your actions with your children. Be consistent. It will be the anchor that they can hold on to get through this tumultuous time. And next, H, they need a healthy parent. And this is a story that I'm going to tell actually when I'm at the conference, at the seminar, is a woman said to me, I was at a conference years ago, and she said to me, I don't care about me, just get my kids through this divorce. And my comment to her has held true for every person that I know. What your children need most is a healthy parent. That's what they need most, because that is going to influence your actions, your thoughts, your words. They need a healthy parent. That's why you need the support group. That is why you need the support group. So you have that space and place where you can get the support that you need. So here's a comment: doesn't hesitate to ditch his kids. I know. I'm so sorry. That happens. They do feel betrayed and rejected, and he refuses to spend time. And this is enough to drive you absolutely crazy, because it's so frustrating and it's so hurtful, and you see your children hurting. But you have to, again, in being that consistent parent, you have to ask yourself the questions: what can I control here? What can I control? I can control me. I can control my influence with my children. I can control my words, because it's not going to help them if I am cussing out their father or speaking poorly about him or her. What is going to help them? What are they going to remember? You were there. You were the consistent parent that they could hold on to. There's a lot to that. We're going to get into that into the seminar. I understand that pain and that injustice that you are speaking of, but you have to ask yourself the question: what can I control? What can I control? Because it will drive you crazy, and you will do things you shouldn't do because you're hurting, because you know your kids are hurting. So be that consistent parent. I can't stress that enough, quite honestly. Interest in them, show interest in them. And I know you may say, well, of course I show interest in them. I mean real interest in them. You're not going to get all the information that you need from them of how they're doing and how they're feeling. They are conflicted with a lot of reasons, and we go into that a little bit in the seminar, because they don't want to betray the other parent. They don't want to confide in you. They're in this limbo, painful place. So the best thing you can do is take interest in them. Listen to them. And one of the things Dr. Kathy Cook shared, there's some really good stuff in the seminar. I don't want to give it away, but she talked about standing in their doorway with the lights off, and they're in bed, and not having them to have to look you in the eye, but giving them some space to be able to talk, to feel free enough to talk. And she talks about the eyes, and I don't want to give it away because I want you to come. It's such good information. But show interest in them, special interest in them. Don't be, badgering them for how they're feeling or badgering them or on them too much. Give them opportunity to share with you how they're feeling. Don't interrogate them, but be with them. Show that interest in them, and you'll be amazed what information you're going to have revealed to you. And plus, you're going to know that they're going to know that you care. They need to know that you care right now. L, love. I know that sounds so obvious, doesn't it? Of course you love your child. Of course you're going to love them. But tell them you love them. Tell them why. Tell them that you're not leaving them. You're never going to leave them. You're always going to be their parent, whether that's a mom or the dad. You're always going to be there for them. Then make sure you are. If you're a daddy, date your daughters. Give them that special attention. Take them out for dinner. Each of your children, take them on a special date. Love them. Tell them you love them. Speak the obvious to them because they need to know it. D, last one. Determination. Be determined to be defined as a family unit. You are a family. Whether that's a mom and a couple of kids, or if it's only a dad and a couple of kids, you're a family. And you need to make sure that you respect that family unit that you are, that you share. We are a family with your kids. You let them know so they don't go off to school or somewhere and see an intact family and feel like they don't have a family anymore. You're a family. And it's very important that you define that and that you are determined to share with them that you're a family. I hope those few points help to get you back to center, get the support you need. I'm a domestic mediator, so I see a lot of actions that hurt children in mediations. Control what you can control. Be a healthy parent. Bless your child by giving them the opportunity to have a healthy parent. See you next week, and don't forget to register.